you know what you're supposed to do. You've watched more slow motion videos of Roger Federer hitting his one-handed backhand than you care to remember. But for some reason, you can't do it. You're still arming your one-handed backhand. In this video, I'm going to explain what's going on and show you how you can work on correcting this problem using a ball machine. So why are you arming the ball? What does it really mean? Well, it means that you've got an issue with your timing. It means that you're starting your swing too late and you don't have space and you don't have time to use optimal biomechanics and make contact with the ball out in front of your body. Because ideally, we're going to be making contact with the ball a little bit in front of our front leg. So that means that we have to get from our prepared position, which looks roughly like this. We've got an upper body unit turn. The racket is going to be high. Some people prefer a straight arm, some people prefer a bent arm. I personally use a straight arm. We need the pelvis pointing to the side because then we're going to be driving through our back hip as we bring the racket down into the slot position. We're going to be transferring the weight forwards as we rotate our upper body, and then we're going to be kind of pulling or throwing the racket into contact out in front of our body. What you're most likely doing is you're starting your swing too late. So the ball is too far this way, and that means that you don't have space, you don't have time to get from there to there to there. So instead, you have to compensate in some way and kind of do this. You have to pull through with your arm and you have to arm it because you don't have time and space to efficiently use your kinetic chain. So the thing that you need to fix is starting your swing sooner relative to the flight of the ball. Now there can be a few pieces involved in that. One of the big ones is you need to be really good at reading the flight of the ball, at judging how far it is away, how fast it's traveling, and predicting how it's going to bounce off court. One of the challenges there for a lot of people is their visual system simply doesn't work well enough for them to do it. We spend so much time looking down at screens, looking at phones. The visual system adapts to that, and that means it does the opposite of adapt to playing tennis. So I find for most players to fix timing issues, you really need to improve how your visual system is functioning. So I've created a program to help you with that. I'll place a link to it in the description. So while you're working on the visual side of things, you've then got to work on things in a specific way on court. And what I want to explain to you is how I used a ball machine to fix my timing or to develop my timing, because I'm naturally a right-handed player. But I've been relearning to play left-handed because I injured myself in a mountain bike crash. So obviously one of the big things that I've had to do with my one-handed backhand is get this good timing component. So the way that I approached it was to use a ball machine because it lets you practice at the right level of difficulty. You could do it with a coach, you could do it with a practice partner, but I just have access to a ball machine, so that's the way that I find it easiest to do it. And I would set myself up a specific type of feed. A single feed, generally, really easy. So I know roughly where it's going. Even with a ball machine, it's a little bit variable, but I know roughly where it's going, and then I would hit my shot. And I would try and get good timing. And then I would evaluate myself based on the timing. So did I get a good contact point out in front? Was I able to use my biomechanics? Or was I a little bit late and I was getting jammed and I was kind of arming the ball? And then if I was getting jammed, if I was a little bit late, I would then make the correction in my head and I would think about that ball. Okay, when did I start my swing relative to the bounce of the ball? When did I start driving through my hip? And then I would make the adjustment and bring it forward. So if on this neutral stance backhand, I was starting my swing just as the ball was bouncing and I was hitting it a little bit late, I would then go, okay, on the next ball, I'm gonna start my swing just before the ball bounces. And then I would try and make that adjustment and try and correct the timing. And I would do this over and over again until for the feed that I was dealing with, I was able to time it pretty well. And then I would move to a different type of feed. Maybe a single feed where I'm having to move to the ball. Maybe it's a shorter ball, maybe it's a wider ball, maybe it's a slightly deeper ball where I've got to move back. But I just use single feeds over and over again, just working on getting the timing. And I didn't move from one type of feed until I developed a reasonable level of timing. And that way I was able to build up a memory bank of, okay, the ball is flying like this. When do I need to initiate my swing? So I got reasonable at doing kind of single feeds. Then I started to work on variable feeds where I didn't know where the ball was going, and then again I had to set up in position and I had to try and get the good timing. So that's the way that I approach things with my left hand, and it was very effective for me. So if you haven't tried this format, I highly recommend giving it a go. Like I said, depending how your visual system is functioning, you might have to do a little bit of work on that first in order to be able to properly fix the issue. And just understand that it's a process. You don't go from arming the ball and being late on your shots for the last 3, 4, 5 years to suddenly fixing it overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time. It took me a year or so to get good with timing the backhand with my left hand. So give it a try, see how you get on. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you found the video helpful, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, much appreciated if you could do that as well.